Comparing and contrasting for kids. Hey kids! This video is different from some of the other Clarendon Learning videos you may have watched, but it's also the same. Wait, what? How can two things be both different and the same? What are we talking about? Well, let's see. This video is the same as others you've watched because it's made by Clarendon Learning. It's the same because it has a narrator and images that you can look at. It's the same because you can turn the volume up and down on your computer or tablet or whatever device you're watching this on. Or you can turn it on and off. Please, don't turn this one off. But it's also different from other videos because it's not about history or science or how to do math. It's different because it's shorter than some videos and longer than others. It's different because the narration is unique to this video and the images you're looking at are also found only in this video. What we just did by pointing out the similarities and differences between this video and some other videos is what this whole video is about. That's right. This is a lesson on comparing and contrasting. So, what is comparing and contrasting? Well, almost anything can be compared and contrasted to almost anything else. For example, let's say you see a building in the city where you live. You could easily compare it and contrast it to your house. What is it about that building that's the same as your house? Is it made of brick like your house? Does it have windows like your house? Is it built on a street just like your house? Now, what are some of the things that are different about the building from your house? Is it taller than your house? Is the building brown while your house is white? Do people go to work there rather than live there? By answering all those questions, you've just compared and contrasted that building to your house. When you found things that were the same between the two, you were comparing. When you found things that were different, you were contrasting. Let's think of a more common example. Have you ever heard the expression, "That's like comparing apples and oranges"? It's a famous expression that people use when they are trying to express that two things are different from each other. An apple is usually red or green, and an orange is, well, orange. You can bite right into an apple without peeling it, but an orange, not so much. Right there, we've contrasted the apple to the orange by pointing out the things that are different. But if we wanted to compare the two, we could easily do that as well. An apple and an orange are both fruits. They're both round. They can both be found in the produce section of a grocery store, and they're both healthy for you. What about a basketball and a soccer ball? Think about those two pieces of sports equipment. Now, take a minute to compare and contrast those in your head. I bet you thought about the fact that they're both round. They can both be thrown, and they're both used for sports. And you probably also thought about the differences. You kick a soccer ball, but you bounce a basketball. You try to get a soccer ball into a goal on the ground, whereas with a basketball, you're trying to throw it into a net that's many feet above the ground. Basketballs and soccer balls also have different colors and textures. So comparing and contrasting two objects is pretty straightforward when you think about it. But comparing and contrasting can also be used in other situations too, like when you're reading stories, or watching shows on TV, or even two movies. You can take a situation in one story and compare and contrast it to a situation in another story. There are some things that are the same between people in stories, and some things that are different. As an example, here's a quick story.
Noah and Ava were twins. They had red hair just like their mom, but their eyes were blue like their dad's. One day, a neighbor asked Noah to help trim a tree. He was taller than Ava. Ava wished she was taller. She was much faster than her brother Noah, so she was asked to walk the neighbor's dogs. Both Noah and Ava enjoyed working. Noah wants to be an engineer when he gets older, and Ava wants to be a doctor. The neighbors paid Noah and Ava for their hard work.
So in that story, we're talking about Noah and Ava, brother and sister. If you were paying attention to the story, you could pretty quickly pick out the things between the two that are the same and the things that are different. If you got distracted during the story because your dog jumped up on your lap and licked your face, feel free to go back and listen to the story again. We'll wait. Okay, now that you've heard the story again, let's compare and contrast. Let's start by comparing. What things did Noah and Ava have in common? They both have the same parents, they're both twins, they both have red hair and blue eyes, and they both enjoyed working. Now, let's contrast. Noah is taller than Ava, but Ava is faster. Noah trimmed a tree while Ava walked the dogs. Noah wants to be an engineer when he grows up, and Ava wants to be a doctor. Remember, comparing and contrasting is all about finding things that are the same between people, places, stories, or objects, and finding the things that are different. Can you compare and contrast yourself to your brother or sister or your best friend? How about comparing and contrasting your parents to each other? Or the street that you live on compared and contrasted to the street around the corner? Think about some things that they all have in common and some of the things they don't. Okay, now that you get the concept of comparing and contrasting, here's a fun exercise. Can you think of two things that can't be compared and contrasted at all? It's pretty hard to do. What about a cupcake and a shoe? Go! While you think about that, I'm going to listen to my narration from this video and compare and contrast it to my previous narrations. Hope it's as good.
Hope you had fun learning with us. Visit us at learnbright.org for thousands of free resources and turnkey solutions for teachers and homeschoolers.